Hi, everyone. I'm happy that we can be here today from the Dutch Kingdom. We are here together and we are going to talk about a very important topic, our legacy. What is each one of us leaving behind? I am really thinking about this topic, and in a conversation I had with our Curacao chair, Jeffka, we were talking about our kids. When you have children, you look at life a little different. But even if you don't have your own kids, you look at the young people around us, and we really want to have a better future for them, for us, for everyone. That is why today we have the next generation. Actually, it was a topic that Jeffka came with. The next generation, our legacy. What are we leaving behind? Not too much talking. I'm happy to have you all here. Mar Introini is our global chair. Jessica Martina is Curacao chair. Natalie Dahl is one of our members. And Luti is our country advisor. I think we're going to start today with Luti. Luti, the chair is yours.
Thank you very much. Now, I would like to start with my program. And you all can see it. You see my
Yes, go on, Luti.
okay. Now, I'm talk about the next generation. That is, I start with the message to parents from previous generations like us, that we taught our children the values of resilience, hard work, and the importance of family and community. So, as you can see, and now, as we look, we are going to Generation Alpha. We see a world changing faster than ever, shaped by technology, diversity, and global change challenges. And it's our hope that these children inherit not just the tools for innovation, but also the kindness and empathy that we guide them toward a brighter future. But who is the next generation? Now, Generation Alpha in the Netherlands is defined by several key factors. First, the diversity of our society means they grow up in multicultural classrooms, learning about different culture and perspectives. Second, their relationships with technology is unparalleled. They are using AI tools for learning and communication. And finally, they are incredibly aware of global issues like climate change, thanks to the social media and educational initiatives. This is a comparison you can see. Every generation is shaped by the circumstances they grew up in. We first started with the baby boomers, for example, focus on rebuilding societies after World War II, while millennials adapted to the rapid rise of the internet. Generation Alpha's unique identity comes from growing up in a fully digital age and being part of a multicultural Netherlands. This generation worldview is fundamentally different trip because they have always had technology and diversity as constant. You can see it in this sheet. We have key trends about Generation Alpha. Those key trends is Generation Alpha in the Netherlands is defined by several key factors. First, the diversity of our society means they grow up in multicultural classrooms, learning about different cultures and perspectives. Second, their relationship with technology is unparalleled. Finally, they are incredibly aware of global issues like climate change thanks to social media and educational. Here you can see the opportunities and challenges. The Dutch population diversity is 76% from Dutch without migration background and 24% of Dutch with migration background. We from the Dutch Caribbean, we are included in the 76%. The role of multiculturalism and the generation alpha. The Netherlands has a long history of multiculturalism, which has profoundly shaped Generation Alpha. This generation is exposed to a blend of languages, traditions, cuisines from an early age. However, challenges remains particularly around ensuring inclusivity in education and helping young people balance their cultural heritage and shared Dutch identity. Potential challenge changes Generation Alpha could bring. Generation Alpha will redefine Dutch society in many ways. In workplaces, they will bring tech skills and a deep understanding of diversity. They'll push for reforms in education to address global challenges like the climate change and ensure inclusivity, and perhaps most importantly, they'll reshape our cultural identity, making multiculturalism an even more integral part of what it means to be Dutch. Here can you see the graphic about it? And now go over to the opportunities and the challenges. When Generation Alpha offers incredible opportunities, we must address challenges such as unequal access to technology and systemic inequalities by investing in education and creating inclusive spaces. We can unlock their full potential and ensure a brighter future for everyone. Here you can see the challenges. The green ones are the opportunities, and the orange ones are the challenges. Conclusion. In conclusion, Generation Alpha represent a transformative force in our society. Their diversity, adaptability, and tech fluency will drive change across industries and cultures. It's up to us to create systems and policies that allow them to thrive. Let's embrace opportunities and bring and work together to build a better future. And like Malcolm X, influential African American, said, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. And now, as closing, I have a message to the parents of the Generation Alpha. You are rising the trailblazers of tomorrow. They are the first to grow up fully immersed in technology, diversity, and global awareness. While this presents challenges, it also opens doors to unprecedented opportunities. So remember, your guidance, patience, and understanding of the unique world will empower them to shape, to shape a more inclusive, innovative, and sustainable future for all of us. I did this with all efforts and information I could get from the CBS and from studies like Mr. McCrindle Research, and with all respect for the owners. Thank you.
Thank you, Luti. Thank you so much. Listen, we are coming back to you with questions, so be prepared. I also
Yes.
want to welcome our St. Martin chair, Sarah Westcott.
Thank you.
Sarah is the president of Parliament in St. Martin. I'm happy that you are with us.
Thank
And
you.
we are anxious to hear your presentation. But before you, we go to Jeffka, who's
Yes,
going to do her
please.
presentation now.
Please.
Okay, Jeffka?
A moment, please. I have to bring Jeff's presentation up.
Okay, not a problem.
Uh,
Actually, your presentation stirred a lot of questions with me, so be prepared. I think the rest has questions too, right?
Yes, of course.
Hmm.
In the
let me see.
meantime, I would like to start greeting you all, fellow sisters. And can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just had some connectivity problems, some issues with internet. I hope that it will behave now. But just in
They
case,
all can see your presentation
Yes, we all see the
yes.
presentation. Yes.
yes.
Okay, then I can mute myself.
Yes,
Okay,
so
Jeffka?
like I was saying, I hope that I will not have a problem with internet like I just had, but that those are factors we cannot do anything about. So I will start out. Uh, my presentation seems a little bit like the one of Luti, I'm sorry. But she started with the current latest generation, which is called Alpha. But I would like to introduce you to another one. Let's see. Next slide, please, because we will be talking about generation beta. I will go into many generations as well, and then reach the part of challenges and opportunities. Next, please. I would like to introduce you all to Betty. Betty was born right this year in January of 2025 because she was born in 2025. She is one of the first girls, future women that will be part of Generation Beta. Let me go to myself. I am 56 years old, so I am from the Generation X. I have two daughters who are from Generation Z. And then already we have had our generation Alpha, who is growing up now, who is going to school, and this generation that is being born. Betty, as you can see her lying here, very cute, beautiful young girl with a bright future, but we will also see that her future has its own type of challenges. Let's go back first before we reach the challenges. Next, please. Luti just mentioned a few of the previous generations. If we indeed go back to baby boomers, we already saw that they had their own challenges. And we know because sometimes some of us are of the generation of baby boomers, or we have been raised by the generation of baby boomers. When I was a teenager in the 80s, I remember being under a lot of stress because it seemed like there would come a third world war. We had our own challenges. We had the Cold War. We had many opportunities that were not given to us, ladies, things that nowadays are quite common for the generation X and probably for I'm sorry, for generation Z plus generation Alpha, back then were not that normal. But what if we look forward to what is awaiting our dear Betty? Dear Betty will live in a world, next slide please, in which she will be very powerful. She will be very able. Many doors have already been opened for her, but still she will meet some challenges that now that she is such a small, cute baby, she cannot even think of, but she will have to be thinking about them for her own future. Next, please. Those, chan- those challenges are, for instance, Luthi mentioned it already, environmental challenges. We can only fathom what the world will be like in another 15, 20 years if we see what climate change is doing right now. We just experienced last week a very freezing cold, for instance, in Texas. People have never seen snow before in Texas, and yet they experienced it. After 40 years, the inauguration of a president had to take place indoors because of the freezing temperatures. But also for the Dutch Caribbean, it was just stated this week that last year was the hottest year for us ever. So what if this path will continue like that? What will await our dear Betty? We also, just like I have experienced the idea and the experience of overseas war, we see the same thing right now happening. Even so far that we have been requested to be prepared for a possible physical war that will result in a lot of destruction, but also cyber wars, etc., just right now. But what about the worldwide inflation? That is that is a result of a war and also the pandemic, and we don't see the end of it right now. So what will it represent for our dear Betty over a few years? Another great challenge, also resulting from the two I mentioned before, are economic realities. Tech is representing a lot of opportunities. Things that we dreamt about will be possible for Betty and her sisters. But at the same time, AI can represent a threat for the working place. But also, tech may be replacing people. We also see that even the alpha and sometimes the generation Z are already facing high student loans when they are ready to start working. Sometimes they are not able to afford a house because of their student loans. Speaking about houses, there are everywhere shortages in the housing market. Sometimes the generation alpha and probably generation beta will not even be able to think, to dream about their own house. And also, we see that work-life balance is sometimes under stress. You have to work, your work is being threatened by AI, you don't have enough budget for a house, but still you have your family to take care for, and sometimes your partner is not helping as much as we women would like them to help. And upon all of this, we see social and cultural shifts whereby female independence is also under stress. I already mentioned the financial independence, but in the working place, sometimes you see sexual harassment. We see a very high level of mental struggles among our young sisters. So poor Betty, being a baby right now, has all of this in her future. But it's no problem because we and the ones before us faced our own challenges as well. So we need to deal with them, and she has to deal with hers as well. So let's see what may be the opportunities that Betty will be able to use. Our next slide, we'll see a lot of girls, but also a few men um, in between that together will work on opportunities. We have to believe in sisterhood. We have to be there for each other. So let's see in the next slide what we in our generations may mean for Betty and her sisters. We will have to be engaging with all generations after us. We will have to be the big sisters. We need to be involved in their reality, also in their struggles. We need to help them see opportunities. Sometimes when I listen to generation of my daughters, even of millennials, or I expect the generation of Betty, they don't see any opportunities anymore because of the great global challenges that they are facing. But we are there to remind them that we will be shoulder to shoulder with them. We will not leave them on their own. So that means that we will have to empower them. We will have to give them the feeling that they are empowered, knowing that they all will be together and that we will help them. But also we will have to truly transfer our power to their generation in time. We will have to let them walk together with us so that they will be prepared along the way and not wait until we are very, very old and then transfer power. We need to start doing that at a young age, giving them responsibilities and allowing them to make their own errors. We also need to transfer assets. Of course, we have worked hard for assets like our own home, but we need to find smart ways to transfer that without those homes, for instance, being a burden for them. So we need to be smart and structure our assets in a way that it will provide for a smooth transfer and for a stronger next generation so that we can have truly generational wealth, which will help them have the wind in their back.
Yes.
And finally, being an entrepreneur myself, I truly believe in entrepreneurship. They have to understand that being independent has also to do with being an entrepreneur, being a businesswoman. If the workplace does not have a place for you because you have been replaced by AI, etc., well, find your own, make your own spot on the market by being entrepreneur. We are not limited by AI and by robots and so forth. AI needs to help us. We will have to be the owner of work, the owner of businesses, and apply AI and anything else that will be developed in the future in order to assist us and making us women more independent. That way, we will not have to accept any threats from men, from bosses, from anyone who tries to limit us. We will have to do that by being at the one side independent, but also at the same time being part of networks, just like we are part of this network, and being part of teams. We always have to remember to work in teams, because the teamwork makes the dream work. So if we are able to pass these three factors through to our cute little Betty from her cradle on, she will grow up knowing that she can be an empowered, engaged businesswoman who don't need to be afraid of anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeffka. I mean, you fired me up, okay? So these are the words that have to be kept repeating. We have to keep repeating them, repeating them, repeating them. And especially as you were saying, the newest generations don't understand us, because
No,
women have all already. They don't understand why we are talking these things, but they will understand one day. I hope we are still there to let's see them understanding it. Okay, our next presenter will be Mar. Mar is in Madrid. You are home now, right, Mar?
Yes, yes. I came back from Lisbon. I was with our chapter in Portugal, and once again I confirmed the need to match what is virtual and what is present. It's so different, the perception that we have. So we need to take technology carefully in our side, but don't forget what is the human contact. I deeply honor that Reina invite me. So it's a very intense relationship that we have since Reina was appointed, and I love the way leading with Luti on her side, the way they both move forward, make the chapter move forward. So deeply grateful, because you are a model for G100 Global Networking, you both, and the chapter of the Netherlands, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I am learning, you see, I am
You're
learning.
learning, yes.
Before leaving any legacy from others, I'm learning for myself. So I know that is the Kingdom of the Netherlands, not just the Netherlands, and so we are deeply grateful. When you proposed me to be here, I was quite shocked about that, about legacy. No, what is legacy? Because legacy is good to talk about it once you have it. Once the legacy is in your hand, you start analyzing what is it and how you could implement it. But how we could speak about the present crisis and what we are meant to leave to others. So for me, it's so challenging and so difficult. So I prefer to be focused on what is my own intention, what is my intention of what I would like the world, our societies to live, and the message that we need to live. I think we need to be humble on this. And not to be fixed on an idea, this is the legacy we need to leave, because the future generation will have different codes and will take our learnings, and the ones that we teach them, they will take in their own way. And we need to also to be prepared for that and accept it, because the output, it could be amazing. No, if we go back maybe 4 centuries back, they will be amazed of the way of the things, of the positive things that came after that. For example, the development of the human rights. No, they were not the same as 4 centuries ago. So we need to celebrate also what is made differently for what is our narrow perspective that is right now the very present. So for the meantime, what we need to focus in to create a sustainable world for the future generation, at least to keep the stability. And this is to find the light at the end of the tunnel on this road, in this highway that we go at very, very high speed. So I identify what is four X's that I think that are extremely important for us to be focused on, especially when we are talking about new generations. First of all, mental health. Mental health is not just a trendy topic that all the people are talking about. It's also very deep and is the basis of everything. We cannot talk of anything else if we are not balanced. So creating balanced personality, more than ever, education became key, and emotional intelligent to be inserted in what is education. The contacts, the kind of contacts, the way we connect, as I started before, is important virtual, but also the present contact and the way we relate to each other. If we start only virtually, we lose this human aspect that is so very important, and we create our own fantasies of what is this person in the positive and in the negative, in both sides. No, we create our own fantasies, and we need to live in a reality. Third, the media. The media, it's a monopoly that manipulates many of the information. And it's not only about fake news, it's about news that have been taken in just one side. So it's half the truth. But this leads to truly crisis, to truly catastrophes in terms of what is solution and moving forward in harmony. And in the end, social media. If when you are not very strong mentally and you connect in a social media that became sick, the person automatically became sick, and we cannot trust that other people will be strong enough to handle with that. I think that we, all of us, have the capacity to say, well, look, I will abandon the social media for 1 week and it's okay. Or I will don't take this news, I will take this one. But not all the people do that. And this is impact directly on what is mental health. So first, exits. Second one, leadership. What means leadership? No? So it depends. Not all the people think it's the same, or we are not automatically associated with one concept. So for me, the first things to develop is to move from the civil society. We continue thinking that civil society is about voluntary, it's about humanitarian aid, and not an active and very active way advocacy from the civil society. Beyond institutions, institutions are on crisis. Please do not forget it. Don't trust that much. We need to take it with limitations, and we take as is the last truth with all the institutions. And I know that is a member of the parliament here. I hope she doesn't take it as a lack of respect to her. I think it's a
No, not at all. Not at all.
Thank you so much. I think it's a healthy and constructive feedback that we need to reform. And these healthy people, as you and many others, have to be influenced the more, and not this political game that contaminate, but dominate. No, is the one who dominates. The healthy game is not popular especially in political institutions. That maybe they are not political. It's supposed to be just global institutions or humanitarian institutions, but the mechanism is strictly political. And when it's strictly political, all the politics are there all around. Third, a new dimension of citizens. Citizens are the one who elect their leaders. If they don't take their own responsibility of what means leading, if they don't think critically, the dimension is very weak, and they choose their own leaders. So not all the people, all the leaders are responsible. No, so it's also responsible the citizens that create the leaders. And of course, a brand new political ones. I think we need to do a very strong reform of what is politics in terms of transparency and to effective action. Maybe just that, seen in a results-driven focus. The third axis is the one that is, for me, is in the middle of my presentation. So because I really think is in the middle of many things. That is the challenge of artificial intelligence. Especially because of regulation, we are not regulated. I don't have time today to move on that, but there is a few regulation all around the world, and Europe have started in last August for the first one. So we are moving very slowly, but I hope it could be resilient. So what is the real challenge and why we need to be concerned? First of all, the empathetic artificial intelligence. This empathetic mechanism may replace a doctor, for example. A diagnosis can be made by a doctor, by a robot instead of a doctor. What happens with the mistakes about that? What happened of the manipulation about that? No. So many of data, many of diagnoses, many of treatments can be done by a robot. And the idea is that it's more intelligent than the person. But what happened with other aspects that we need from the human aspects? And of course, there is another aspect that is not only unethical, but it could be even a terrorist attack to what is a civil society, that is mind control. You control them, and it could become aggressive, there could be wars. So this is not fantasy, this is reality. And many groups in social media are dismantled because they are moving through these algorithms, identifying weak people, and then do this process of mind control. So this is a danger, and it's true a danger because if we are going to leave a legacy, which legacy we are going to give if there is a machine or there is a small group of people, an elite that is using the artificial intelligence to control others and then control for commercial or military purposes. So this is really very important, and I would like to end with the challenge to say etc., because the problem is on the etc., etc. This is consequence of consequence. So this is the third axis, the third pillar. I think we need to take it into account very seriously. And then the fourth one, the new mechanism for social media and citizen. I think we need to take new mechanism. If I don't know if you are aware that in 10 years we have moved forward very fast. We have adopt new technologies, however, without regulation, however, without any kind of control. Who is accountable from that? The private sector. Who is accountable in terms of transparency? No? Who controls when there is a news that is fake? Who controls it? There's no control at all. That's a reality. And the way to fight back, more than the regulation, more than legislation, is also to train the youth on how to use it. How to use it in a way that your critical thinking is there, your human critical thinking, not the one that the machine is telling you to have, not the codes, the algorithm that moves through the media, but your own. So you take it. And this is to use intelligence, and this is to use your natural intelligence, artificial intelligence at your service, at the service of your natural intelligence. So only then, when we put all the pieces of the puzzle, that is this 4-1 and many more that they are the consequence of this 4-1, we are going to have balanced individuals that lead societies within an ethical use of AI, influenced by a healthy and controlled with AD, media and social media. Now think of this, many of the decisions that we take, many of the position, ideological, inclusive, political, ideological, economical, are based on media. This is our point of reference always. And then we interact in social media. And what the majority say, it seems to be the truth, but it's not. So I think this is the way that we are going to sit on that car in a very high speed, in quite chaotic highway, but we are going to find the light at the end of the tunnel. We are going to see it, maybe or not. The next generations will see it. I hope we could leave some light and some framework of security to do it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mar. I'm really happy that you brought this part up, because I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we're going to have for now. But the questions will come. We'll continue now with St. Martin, Sarah Westcott. Sarah?
Thank you so much. And good day, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night. And so good to be in the presence of such a distinguished panel once again. Thank you, ladies. And the speakers before me, thank you for putting it into perspective. As I looked at the theme that was suggested for today, the next generation, immediately I had a mental addition to that, and that is the next generation is now, with a focus on the now. And I think that what we are facing now has been illustrated by all of the speakers before me. I wish maybe that we lived in a world where just as you have the eras, like the baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Z, and then going over, starting back at Alpha, etc., etc. However, it's not really a cut off at any of these generations. So we who are speaking here today, we are facing now the next generation, but also current generations, because it's not only our generation or only my generation, your generation. There are several generations right now dealing with everything that is coming at us. And I would just highlight some of them that have been brought forward by the speakers before me, Luti, Jeffka, and Mar, in terms of put technology for the last. I want to look at the issue of climate change. And it was illustrated so wonderfully, the challenges that all generations right now, young, in between, and old, are having to deal with. Technology, now I want to bring that in. And now we see where the current generations are playing catch up in terms of trying to structure and control matters like technology. Now we're looking at putting boundaries in place for the younger generation amongst us. No social media below the age of 16, no phones in the school. I mean, you name it, we are trying to catch up with some of these challenges that at the same time as they are challenges, they offer opportunities. So I think the impetus is on the generations right now, all of us, the young ones. So before the little Betty, what about the young ones right now? And we, a step older, and some a step older than us, having the opportunity still. And I think that's what matters right now. Do we have the will? Do we have the feeling that we, at whatever stage in the now, can make a difference for the next generation? And it's a challenge, because as we look at the next generations and what they could potentially face, what we envisage right now, we have those challenges to deal with for ourselves. And because at the end of the day, we want to leave this world better than when we came in. That in itself is a huge responsibility. How do we tackle all of the things that are coming at us? And social media, a tool that offers so many opportunities, but at the same time, to every light, there is a dark side. To every light, there is a dark side. The dark side of social media, what we have today as well, and what we need to try to create the teams and the unity, firstly starting from the nucleus, the families, the communities, the countries, associations like these throughout the world. And at the same time, you're up against a lot of individualism. And I think it might have been Jeffka who mentioned it and said that, persons, young, especially young people, are wondering, does this make sense? What does the future hold? And we have to have the confidence to be able to tell them challenges, they might not have been the same, but every generation has its challenges. Every generation sees opportunities. And so we who are here in the now and looking at alpha and looking at beta, we need to convey that. We need to tell ourselves this in order to inspire those who are just a step behind or maybe two steps behind coming. Because while the challenges will continue to exist, they do get more complicated. And I want to touch on a topic, Mar, and absolutely no offense taken, because we need to talk about the political landscape in general. So those who are whether elected, appointed to lead us and to lead future generations. And we as a people generally need to be very conscious of who who we put in charge of our affairs, who we put in charge of future generations, of creating that better world, that better prospect. Because, and I don't want to make it country specific, but we see where one individual, while we overlook a certain path in the future, and one individual could come and turn that upside down. So I think groundedness for us, the belief that I heard, which one of the speakers talk about, I think again it was Jeffka, and she's like, we need that confidence and that will to go on, that will to push forward. And yes, ladies, as women, I think that role is especially on our shoulders. I think it's especially on our shoulders. So the next generation, by whatever name, is now for us to contemplate about those generations to come, for us to work with the generations we are part of right now, and make sure that we can accomplish, and that confidence. Because at the end of the day, what we are trying to do when we talk artificial intelligence, when we talk climate, our planet, it is about humanity. So regardless the technological advances, for their good and their bad, what is going to keep us going is humanity and love for our fellow human beings. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Humanity is so necessary. We need it. We need to accept our humanity. We need to look at it in whatever we are doing, because we are people.
Yes.
Okay?
People first.
People first.
And
Yeah?
everything after. Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. We have questions for you too, so be prepared.
Okay.
And then we have Natalie.
Mhm.
Natalie is special today. She broke her arm and she's going to speak.
Oh, wow. You go, Natalie.
Natalie, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
going to
there
speak
you
from my
are.
heart. I'm going to speak from my heart because I didn't prepare like you prepared the whole thing with the PowerPoint and everything. But as I listened this afternoon, I missed two things. I miss the education at home because that's the first thing we are going to make our generation strong with, even if it's a boy or if it's a girl. But we have to have a strong foundation with strong morals and strong education to feed them and let them know that they can overcome everything there is to overcome in this world. Because our parents did their best. So now we are in a position that we know better and that we can give more because of all the information we have around us, so we can give them more. And the other thing I missed was the spirituality,
Oh,
the
yes.
the
Mhm.
the feeling, the being for each other, the being, the everything, the God, the world, everything that we have to give the children those aspects also. So if I did a piece today, those two were the main things, and then technology also, but you all talked about the technology. So those two things, if there is another day we can talk about this, I would like to go deeper in them because I think because I work for 30 years with children and parents. So you see the difficulties that are in our communities right now are coming from the home. Not enough information, not enough
Guidance.
foundation, not enough guidance, not enough everything. So if we don't make a good foundation, we cannot build houses. And the houses are the children of the future. So we as parents, we as grandparents have to be there, have to prepare the way, have to help them build, and have to show them how to be good citizens, good people, good everything. So that's what I wanted to give for now. But it is very important the combination of all we had this afternoon, because all of that make our world. All of that makes us humans thriving in this environment, in the global, in the technology
Hello.
aspect, and all those things. So
Okay, thanks.
I
Thanks,
think
Alice. Okay.
we have a very important task. We have a very great task because we have the knowledge, we have the people around us that can help us to give all these things to the new generations. So let us combine all those things and then move on and give the world the difference we want to give it to. So that's my speech for today.
Thank
Well said.
you.
Well said.
Thank you, Natalie. And it's what we are doing now, maybe only putting a little seed somewhere and hope that it can develop. Because next to all the topics that we heard today, there are many other things that, based on individuality, people are concerned about. So
Yes.
that is, thank you for your presentation. I will do my presentation now, and I'm starting because I have a huge concern for the next generation since I upgraded from mother to grandmother. And my kids are millennials, and my two grandchildren are Gen Z. And grandmothers through history have a significant and unique impact on the lives of their grandchildren. And aware of the mental programming of people, I made a conscious choice to be the primary one to take care after my granddaughter when she was born. And this was possible because I work at home. As Jeffka said, you have to create your own independency, and then you can get other things out of it. And the other grandmother, luckily retired, also made the same decision. So our granddaughter had a 24/7 full team to look after her when necessary at any time. My mother was the one who for 24/7 was available to take care of my own two children, and I must give her credit for doing an excellent job. I also remember how my maternal grandmother and my parents were really concerned for us and our future. I am the eldest of 8, and we lived with so many rules of how to behave when out of their sight. And I know now it was too based on the fear and worries for us not having a good future. Honestly, I am convinced that all previous generation had the same concerns, as Sarah also indicated. As a grandmother, I promised myself to help my grandkids whenever possible with emotional support, wisdom and experience, passing down family traditions, stories, and cultural practices, helping grandchildren feel connected to their heritage. I'm also working very hard to be a positive role model, demonstrating qualities such as resilience, patience, and kindness. Not always easy, but I try. Also, we are support for the parents because they are working on their career. And by helping them, we strengthen family bonds and we give parents relief. They need it. every family dynamic is unique, but the bond between a grandmother and grandchild can be deeply enriching for both. It's understandable to be concerned about the future of your grandchildren. We are leaving a legacy behind, and they are the one to continue with it. And the world can seem overwhelming with its challenges, but there are also many reasons to be hopeful for the next generation, as we also heard. Ensuring that your grandchildren have access to quality education will prepare them to face and solve the problems of the future. Also, encourage a love for learning and critical thinking. Despite having this small machine, they need to know how to hold a book in their hand and love holding a book in their hand and learning from it. Climate change also came up today. The environment is a significant concern. Teaching our grandkids about sustainability and conservation can help them be part of the solution. Supporting policies and initiatives that protect the planet is also crucial. And I can see it with my grandkids that they are showing concern about what's happening with the world that they have to manage later. And while technology can be a double-edged sword, it also holds incredible potential for positive change. We have to guide our grandchildren to use it responsibly and creatively can open up many opportunities for them. What also came up and is very important, as Mar mentioned, is the mental health. The pressures of modern life can take a toll on mental well-being. We have, as grandmothers, we have to foster an environment where our grandchildren feel safe to express their feelings and seek help when needed. Empathy and social skills are needed because we need to encourage empathy, respect for others, and strong social skills to help them build healthy relationships and navigate a diverse world. And the resilience. Life will always have its ups and downs and all the things that we need in it. But instilling resilience and adaptability, we will help them bounce back from challenges and thrive in changing circumstances. I hear a lot of time that people talk about norms and values. Things have changed. From our generation to the Gen Z and to Betty, things have changed. Norms and values are constantly evolving, influenced by societal changes, technological advancement, and cultural shifts. That's why we have to focus on education, technology and media, being role models, peer influence, community and cultural engagement, and critical thinking. And then it is tough to imagine, as I just said, a world without smartphones, especially for the younger generation. They grew up with it, but we need to help them find a healthy balance and ensure that smartphones don't dominate their lives negatively. And we have to start by leading by example because a lot of people of my age are at this moment addicted to the smartphones. And they, as role models, are showing the grandkids how they have to handle technology. So we need to lead by example. We need to set boundaries. We need to encourage alternative activities. We have to design in our house, in our homes, tech-free zones. No technology in the bedroom, no technology when we're eating. We also need to talk a lot to them. Talk, 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 talk. Tell them about a lot of things that we know. React. Don't get angry with them, but react on what you see they do and on so on as part of our influencing them for a healthier life. We also have to monitor them. We have to spy on them. And the easiest thing with technology is that at this moment, there are a lot of spy things that you can use, a lot of gadgets. just to know what's going on in their lives, because especially the peers and the fact that they have that small machine in their hand, you don't know what's going on. So you need to spy on them, and don't feel bad. Don't talk about that you are spying. Don't tell anyone, but do it. And we have to organize and create offline socializing so that we can do things together, have family events, in order to be able to influence them and give them tools. Because what we're doing, the only thing we can do is giving them either tools they can hold, or tools that they just can, they have it, but they can use it. Because despite all the challenges, as Sarah said, every generation has faced its own set of difficulties. And by equipping our grandchildren with the right tools, values, and support, they can build a bright and hopeful future. And you know something, after saying all this, I am still worried about the future of the next generation. Thank you. Okay, peeps. Let's go to questions. I would like to know from all of you, when we talk about these, the phones, how addicted are you at this moment to this?
I not even hear it sometimes.
Because we have to be aware that as role models, and if we talk about the future generation, they see how we talk, they see how we walk, they see what we eat. We are role models. We are showing them a lot of things. What are we showing them with this in our lives?
Now, if I can start, I will say that I have no kids, no children of my own, and I don't have so many little childrens here. I live in the country, so here the childrens are more outside than inside. They use technology for at school, and that's, but you don't see them. Only the teenagers you see with their cell phone. But the
What
small
about the older people, our generation?
uh yeah, they all that's why my husband go do the shopping, because I don't go to the supermarkets anymore, because they all walk with that up that thing on their ear. I don't even listen to my phone. But it's sick. I call it's sick.
Too many people are, they need it. I see elder people, you go to events and people are, and while saying this, I'm still referring to the legacy we're leaving to the next generation. So with everyone with the phone on, like we go out with our granddaughter, and then we tell her no phone. So we sit, even if she wants to go on the phone, maybe she can look at, but we are sitting and socializing and we don't use the phone. Why should we use a phone?
Now what um uh, here in the Netherlands, they changed the rules at school now that the kids are not allowed to use the cell phone
I
anymore.
think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Um, Natalie, you as an educational person, what do you think about that? I mean, not only over the kids, but the example we are giving the young people. You have to unmute yourself. I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Yes, no.
Okay.
Yes, I find it's very like the lady said just now, it's very sick. You know why? We cannot, we wake up, we look at our phones. We go to the bathroom, we are go with the bathroom with our phones. We go to work in the car, we are on the phone. At work, I have to say sometimes, except, example again are the teachers. They are on the phone almost the whole morning. I had a rule on the long run at my school. When you come in, it's a child's rule. But I was on a given moment I had to do something. We had a nice bucket. We put our own phones in there. When we have a break, we come, we pick up our phones, we look, we talk, we do everything we have to do. Then we put them back. And then when we leave to go home, we pick it back up. Because we are telling the children they cannot use the phone in the classroom. They cannot make their homework from the telephone. They were looking at Google or something like that. They were looking for answers. So we are teaching them to be on their own, to do their own thing. So if you as a teacher or you as a mother or you as a grandmother are sitting the whole day with your telephone, you're not giving them the example for them to do their own thing. You're
Yes.
giving them you have to rely on the phone to talk to other people or to do other things so you can be happy. So
Yes.
that's a real wrong, how do you say that, Bills?
Image.
Image you are giving the children right now. So I'm very concerned about that also.
Thank you, Natalie. I think we can have one more question before we close our the next generation seminar. Anyone?
Reina, I
Anna?
think I think you touched on an important aspect with your last question with respect to how we utilize technology and especially the smartphone. And
Yes.
I think it is important to show those who are viewing us as role models. So whether our children, grandchildren, students, that there are boundaries, and those boundaries differ depending on your own circumstances and your stage in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because the smartphones, for example, has made working so much easier and also given the
Yes.
opportunity to spend more time, with be it children or grandchildren, while you still can pursue whether it be your entrepreneurial spirit, your professional spirit, whatever have you. But even
Mm-hmm.
for us, and I know it's a challenge for all of us to set those boundaries, because
Yes.
I think it would be impossible for you take your example that you mentioned to be in a social setting with family and younger ones, children and grandchildren, and you're like, put away your phone, but you still have an excuse to use yours at that occasion.
Correcto.
So I think it's important that in order to we know they're looking at us, we know they're imitating us, even though they often would say, "No, sir, you have antiquated styles. You don't understand." But nevertheless, they look at us and they imitate us. So we need to be very conscious of what we're doing. We can't be preaching one thing and doing another thing unless you can
Correcto.
explain it. This is the
Correcto.
job, and but if you're asking for a phoneless conversation, you got to make sure your phone is
You yes.
away. So the parameters
Definitely.
for that
Definitely.
role modelship, I think, are is important.
I think, thank you, Sarah. I think we all can conclude that we have a huge challenges when we talk about the next generation and how we could, being role models, how they look at us. Each one of us we have big challenges.
Yes.
Indeed.
I want to thank you all for being here today, and I'm very proud of us because the what each one of you presented gives a lot of food for thought. And the most important thing is that we know that we will continue to share these ideas. You never know who is going to benefit from what we are sharing. What we do know is that being in this sisterhood, being in the global G100, that we are trying to leave a good legacy behind. That is what we are doing, and that is why we are doing it. And I let me invite everyone for our next presentation. We will publish it. I want to thank Mar in Madrid for being with us today. I want to thank Sarah in St. Martin to being with us. I want to thank Luti in the Netherlands, in Holland, to being with us. I want to thank Natalie and Jeffka and me for being here in Curacao. Thank you all. Have a
Thank
great
you,
weekend
ladies.
and let's keep
All of you
celebrating
too.
ourselves and the G100 sisterhood.
Thank
Thank
I
you.
second
you.
that.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Do, 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 do.